Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. I am Mark Destiny, and this is the Wrestling with Destiny WWE SmackDown review show. Friday's episode of WWE SmackDown only included 4 matches, but the main event's length had a lot to do with that. The show opened with the focus on the women's division as Bianca Belair delivered a promo from the ring. It didn't take long for the Street Profits, Bayley, Dolph Ziggler, and Robert Roode to show up and turn it into a 6-person tag match. The women's tag team champions were also in action, with Shayna Baszler and Nia Jax fighting the 2 superstars who have been consistent nuisances in recent weeks, Natalya and Tamina. Big E got a rematch for the Intercontinental Championship against Apollo Crews, but he had to contend with Commander Aziz at ringside, so he was at an immediate disadvantage. Lastly, Daniel Bryan challenged Roman Reigns for the Universal Championship with the added stipulation that if he lost, he would leave SmackDown forever. Let's take a look at what happened on Friday's show. I am Mark Destiny. I'll be right back at you after a message from New Jack and the intro.
Hey, the original gangster. And I'm stopping by to tell everybody to check out Wrestling with Destiny podcast on YouTube with Mark Destiny. The original gangster is coming by to tell you, tap in or tap the fuck out. Peace. No.
Looking for the news, I'm the one you need to see. AEW, NXT, and WWE. In and out the rope so we can keep it in the ring. For the business, I'm like gravy cause it turned me to a fiend. I super kicks it to your HBK 9-7. From the same city as Knoxville, Cincinnati, where I'm rapping. 1, 2, 3, ding, ding, you won't last. You are tuned into the Wrestling with Destiny podcast.
To start off this week's SmackDown, the women's champion Bianca Belair made her way to the ring to kick off Friday's proceedings and wasted little time introducing the viewing audience to the show. Before she could introduce the Street Profits, SmackDown Tag Team Champions Dolph Ziggler and Robert Roode interrupted. Montez Ford and Angelo Dawkins made their presence felt anyway, only for Bayley to interrupt. The top contender to the SmackDown Women's title yanked the microphone from Belair and laughed hysterically, only for the EST to smack her to the mat. Then the show headed to a break, which we know, if they're going to head to a break and when all these people came out, it's going to end up being a tag team match. This was about as uninspired and lazily booked for a show to open as there always is, or has ever been. It was a string of interruptions before Bayley started laughing with no further of the feud, either one of them, but a multi-person tag match for a sure result. No titles on the line, no nothing. How do we know this? Because we've watched wrestling before. Also, because WWE announced as much earlier in the afternoon. So why go through the trouble of booking a half-assed promo segment instead of getting right to the match? A really disappointing start for the show. Now in this match, Bayley and Belair started the bout, engaging in some back and forth before a hot tag from the EST to Angelo Dawkins. The big man exploded into the match, overpowering Ziggler and Roode. Then watched as Ford launched himself over the top rope and wiped the tag team champions out on the floor. The heel slowed Ford and worked him over, with Bayley even getting the shot in. Ford rocked Ziggler with the big kick to create separation and tagged Dawkins back into the match. The action broke down. Belair delivered a KOD to Bayley, and Ford finished Roode off with the springboard frog splash for the win. Now, Belair whipped Robert Roode with her hair, and it looked like it hurt. But I'm just going to say this. That springboard frog splash, Montez Ford is a beast. He's a beast, man. How high he gets up is crazy. One day when they eventually break up this tag team, and they will, Montez Ford is going to be the breakout star of this. There's no questions about it. It's going to be sad because Angelo Dawkins is going to fall down and fall fast. He kind of reminds me of D'Lo Brown back in the day at the Attitude Era. It's funny that he doesn't do the frog splash like D'Lo, but he does do the sky high. I think that's what it's called. The D'Lo used to do it. Angelo Dawkins do the sky high, so that's pretty cool. But I really didn't care about this match. WWE thrives off these multi-person tag matches. This was fast-paced, fun, energetic, and showcased the babyfaces while the heels got heat for a bit. It was the explosive comeback that really helped elevate this one. Does Bayley feel any more like a credible threat to Belair? No. Does it feel inevitable that Ford and Dawkins capture the tag team titles? Absolutely, that will happen. In that regard, it could have been even better. And spotlighted the talent, kept them busy, and brought energy to the opening segment of the show. In that regard, it worked. But other than that, I didn't care. I mean, if it worked, it worked. But I just don't care. It just is what it is. I don't care about this match. I don't care about the tag team champions. They ruined Dolph Ziggler and Bobby Roode. I mean, they got the tag team championships, but they really don't do nothing. So it's like they just got them just to have them. Like I've been saying, every podcast regarding WWE, you have the tag team championships, 2 of them. 2 separate tag teams, 2 championships for no reason. No reason. There's not enough tag teams to have 2 tag team championships. You need just one team. Have that team travel from Raw to SmackDown, back and forth, back and forth. You can let all the tag teams go anywhere. That will mean more matches. You can have more singles matches. You can have someone from a tag team have a singles match. It'll be better. You can push superstars better that way. More opportunities. But to have 2 separate tag team championships, it makes no sense. No sense whatsoever. But you tell me what you think about this. Did you enjoy this match? Did you enjoy the opening segment? Did you enjoy the promos? I'm listening. I'm all ears. Leave a comment in the comment section. Remember, like, subscribe to the channel. Hit the notification bell for any wrestling content you want to hear from me. Up next, we got a continued feud. A non-title match for the tag team championships in the women's division that I don't care about. Natalya and Tamina and Nia Jax and Shayna Baszler. When will this stop? When? The rivalry between women's tag team champions Nia Jax and Shayna Baszler and top contenders Natalya and Tamina continued with the rematch of WrestleMania 37 Showdown, a rematch. Like, stop. They had their chance at WrestleMania. Why they keep fighting? Tamina tried for an early top rope splash, but Jax got the knees up. That looked horrible. She need a new move. She can't do it. The irresistible force and the Queen of Spades double-teamed the second-generation competitor, rocking her with the knee before overwhelming her with the series of splashes and the corner splash by Jax. Tamina fought her way out the corner and tried for a body slam, but Jax refused to budge, falling on her opponent for a quick 2 count. Tamina tagged Natalya into the match, and the third-generation star uncorked a German suplex. Baszler rocked her with the big knee, though leaving the Queens of Hearts in a need for her own tag. Tamina re-entered the match, headbutted Baszler off the mat, and scored the pinfall victory off the Superfly splash. That looks horrible, like I said. She needs a new move. I don't care about this. I don't care about this, man. I don't know why they keep fighting. They just had a title shot at WrestleMania 37. Y'all ain't built nothing else besides this stupid shit with Mandy Rose and Dana Brooke. Who cares about that? Oh, man. But y'all let go of the Iconics. Y'all should have kept them a tag team. I'm not saying they're fucking great, but at least it was a real tag team. Y'all got women's tag team championships with no women's tag team division. Where's Liv Morgan and Ruby Riott? Come on, man. Come on, man. There's talent in these matches, and the effort has been there, but these 2 teams simply don't have chemistry that we have seen them wrestle in some form of fashion for too often. 6 times this month alone. 6 times in a month? Come on, man. only exacerbates how overexposed and underwhelming the program has been. Jackson Baszler have run their course as champions, yes, but Natalya and Tamina don't feel like the team to dethrone them. The more the feud is shoved down the throat of the audience by way of repetitive matches every week, the less potential win will mean. It won't mean nothing because we will not care. You better do something with Liv Morgan and Ruby Riott. Build them up. That's the only people I would love to see the tag team championships on in the women's division. There's nobody else. There's literally nobody else. And when you break up Nia Jackson, Shayna Baszler, that's another team that's gone because you need to do that. Baszler needs to be by herself. And even Nia Jackson needs to be by herself too. I don't care, man. I don't care about this. It sucks. It sucks. Big time. Sucks ass. What more can I say, man? Now, guys, something I'm excited about. My homeboy, Aleister Black. Aleister Black is back doing more vignettes. I'm happy. I want him to continue to do these vignettes before he gets in the ring. Maybe he will make his in-ring debut again at Money in the Bank and potentially win Money in the Bank. That would be dope. But we'll see. Aleister Black delivered his latest cryptic message, discussing the facade that is the path to happiness and success. He knows the key to breaking through it, but refuses to give to the viewers. Now, I like this Aleister Black. I wonder what his ring attire will look like, or if they're going to change his entrance. I'm sure they will, but that would suck, man. He had one of the best entrances in WWE besides The Fiend. And yeah, man. Who knows? I'm just glad that the guy is back. He's too good to be just sitting on the shelf collecting dust. Hopefully WWE actually does something with him this time around and not hold him back. He's too good of a talent to just be sitting and catering with Titus. But, you know, shout out to JD from New York. That's where I got that from. Titus Catering. But, who knows, man? I just hope they do something good with him. He's real good in the ring. He does good promo work. He got way better at promos after he left NXT, I must say. But he got better with promos. But the in-ring stuff, they did all those matches with him and Buddy Murphy that were great. But other than that, he really didn't get to showcase how good he is in the ring on WWE television. So hopefully they'll let him do his thing, man. I'm super excited to have him back. Let me know what you guys think about Aleister Black, man. Are you a fan of his? I am, man. He's pretty dope. Hopefully I can get an endorsement from him soon. I would love to have that. But let me know what you think in the comment section. Now, ladies and gentlemen, I have a question. How do you feel about Big E? I think since Big E broke away from the New Day, well, after they broke the New Day up, that he has gotten more serious. But I think he needs to be more serious. I want to see him not doing any more dances and gyrating his hips and all of that. Like, I want a more serious Big E, not this happy-go-lucky Big E. Just tell me how you feel about that. Now, back in the Thunderdome, Big E made his way to the ring for one more showdown with Intercontinental Champion Apollo Crews, seconded by the massive Commander Aziz. The typically fun-loving challenger started hot, dominating the early minutes of the match. He delivered a big splash on the ring apron and appeared to be rolling, but Crews seized control of the match, dropping Big E at ringside ahead of the break. You know, breaks in the middle of an Intercontinental Championship match. Wow. Crews dominated the action during coming out of the break, adding a moonsault to the floor. A missed aerial assault back inside, allowing Big E to build momentum. A big splash earned the challenger a 2 count. The champion dumped Big E on the ring apron and added a top rope splash, but he couldn't keep his opponent down. With Big E fired up, he delivered a big ending and appeared to have the win in hand. But then, Aziz pulled him out of the ring and sent him into the ring post. Kevin Owens hit the ring, seeking revenge for the Nigerian nail he endured last week. He found himself beaten down by the heels and the interfering Sami Zayn. The villains laid out the baby faces before Aziz delivered a Nigerian nail to Zayn as well. and stood tall alongside Cruz. I like that. I like how Apollo Cruz is getting built up as this dominant heel. The only thing I don't like is the fake accent. The fake accent is horrible. I hate it. But everything else about this is great. I liked Aziz. I didn't expect for them to lay out Sami Zayn. So I wonder if they're going to turn Sami Zayn to a babyface because of this, and have them to Sami Zayn and Kevin Owens go against Apollo Crews and Aziz, which is probably going to happen. You know how predictable WWE is with this booking. So I assume that will be the next stage of this, but who knows? Big E and Crews had a perfectly acceptable match, not unlike the others they have had, with the finish that was all too predictable. Aziz is clearly meant to be the heater for Crews, but his presence ensures cheap finishes that do no justice to the match that precedes them. And then there's the potential for him to overshadow Crews eventually. History tells us that will absolutely happen, and sooner rather than later. The involvement of Owens and Zayn after the bell suggests a fatal four-way for the upcoming WrestleMania Backlash pay-per-view, and given the talent of the 4 stars that will be involved, that would certainly make for a great match. With that said, it feels like a placeholder as WWE buys time for Crew's title reign before inevitably giving the title back to Big E. How long though? Until Big E moves on to bigger and better things? We do not know. One day, Big E will be your WWE champion. No doubt in my mind. They're just waiting. Right now, this is Roman's time, even though it's been Roman's time for like 6-7 years, but you know how that goes. Now he got even a longer time because now he healed. So you got years to come with this, buddy. This is the new John Cena, except for he's healed now. They didn't do that with John. But yeah, man. You tell me. What do you think about this if they do a fatal 4-way? Now, that makes sense for the upcoming pay-per-view, but after that is over with, there's going to be no more Kevin Owens Intercontinental Championship matches. There's going to be no more Sami Zayn. There's going to be no more Big E. What do you do with the where are the other contenders going to come from? Where? You guys haven't built anybody to be in an Intercontinental Championship match. I don't see Seth Rollins fighting for an Intercontinental Championship match at all. Daniel Bryan's gone, and I'll get to that to the next segment. So I got a good idea. They should have but Apollo Crews is a heel, so I would say Jey Uso, but Apollo Crews is a heel, man. So who knows, man? You need to make some superstars. Jeez. What more can I say? Same shit over and over. Rinse and repeat. The same feuds. Rinse and repeat. WrestleMania is over. And it's been over for some weeks. So, I don't know. Tell me what you think about this situation. Tell me who you see next going against Apollo Crews for the Intercontinental Championship after these guys are over and done with. Let me know in the comments section. Be right back. Gotta blow my nose, man. My allergies is kicking my ass, man. Jeez. Now, guys, for the main event. Universal Championship match. Daniel Bryan versus Roman Reigns. If Roman wins, Daniel Bryan's gone. No more SmackDown. Now, everyone's thinking that Daniel Bryan's leaving WWE. No. I believe that he's just going to Raw. That's it. He hasn't been on Raw for quite a while. They need a superstar on Raw. Hence, that's why he's leaving SmackDown. Roman Reigns is the superstar there. They need a big name for Raw. Bobby Lashley isn't a big name. Neither is Drew McIntyre. I mean, they're good. People like them, but they're not big named superstars as like a Daniel Bryan or a Roman Reigns is. So I said last week that I would like to see Daniel Bryan take the WWE Championship off of Bobby Lashley at like SummerSlam. I think that would be an amazing match, and I think it would be good promos between MVP and Daniel Bryan. But don't be upset, guys. This Daniel Bryan's not going anywhere. Maybe, but I doubt it. His contract is not up until I think either August or September, so he has some months to decide that if he wants to renegotiate a new deal. And I think he will, man. I think he will. I know he likes AEW, but I think he will. I think he's going to stay there, so we'll see. Now, about this. After how long hyped, including input from the top SmackDown stars during this episode, Daniel Bryan made his way to the square circle for a shot at Roman Reigns and the Universal Championship. A win and the leader of the Yes Movement would cement his legacy. A loss would lead to his banishment from the Blue Brand. The Blue Brand. The head of the table entered the arena to new theme music. I don't even care about the theme music. I don't even like it, honestly. It's a little way too late. He is solidified with the Shield's music now. They should have changed his music when they changed Dean Ambrose music, when they changed Seth Rollins music, when they broke up the Shield. But no, they just gave the Shield music to Roman Reigns, which was stupid. And that's another reason why people didn't like Roman Reigns back then. They booked him too much. He had the Shield's music still, like. But anyway, the head of the table entered the arena to new theme music and an orchestral epic with the badass beat befitting the unstoppable force in the sports entertainment. Blah, blah, blah. I don't give a damn. Bryan attacked from the opening bell, rocking the champion with the drop kick. He flattened Reigns with the running knee from the ring apron heading into the break. You have a break in the middle of a high-profile WWE Universal Championship match. Why? Why, man? When they was doing all these wrestlers saying who they thought was going to win this match, that's where the commercials should have came in. Use all that time for these fucking advertisements. Not with no high-profile match like this. It's stupid, man. The challenger worked the left arm and shoulder of the champion, teeing off on him with the flurry of kicks to the shoulder. Reigns absorbed and returned fire, cutting Bryan off with a big back elbow for 2. Bryan sent him face first into the turnbuckle, but the big dog recovered and delivered a powerbomb off the top rope for a 2 count. That looked amazing. Reigns dominated coming back from the break. Another one. DJ Khaled. Uploading with clotheslines on the floor, then added the big knees and boots to Bryan in the corner. He set the challenger up on the top rope, but Bryan crotched him and looked to rally. Bryan delivered a huge side suplex from the top rope and shot the half on Reigns, scoring another 2 count. He continued to roll, taking the tribal chief to the floor. There, Reigns tried for the spear, but Bryan moved and the champion crashed into the guardrail. Back from yet another commercial break. It's 3. Bryan launched himself off the top rope with the driving headbutt for another near fall. Reigns answered with the Superman punch. Bryan trapped him in the yes lock. Reigns escaped and delivered a spear, but he could only keep the challenger down for a count of 2 as Bryan's resiliency and heart took over. Reigns trapped Bryan in the guillotine, but the babyface escaped and applied an arm submission. He subdued into the yes lock. Reigns fought towards the ropes, but Bryan pulled him back. The champion powered out, finally managing to slam Bryan to the mat. He pounded away to the back of Bryan's head, punishing him before delivering another powerbomb. Reigns used his good arm to apply the guillotine, choking the fight out of Bryan and retaining the title. After the match. But before we get into that, I did not think that this was going to be the way that Daniel Bryan lost. So when he lost like that, I kind of was thinking like, They made him just pass out. I don't like that, man. I don't like how they won this match. But I can't be picky. And there's a lot of shit to be picky about on this show and all of their shows, but this is one thing I shouldn't be picky about. After the match, Reigns attempted a brutal chair assault on Bryan, only for Cesaro to make the save. The Swiss Superman unloaded on the champion. He was whooping, I'm telling you, them European uppercuts, he was fucking Reigns up. And I enjoyed it. That shit looked real. They looked great, man. But Jey Uso made the save. He hit him with a super kick. Wow, was a wrap. Reigns did deliver a concerto to Bryan while Cesaro was tied up on the ropes and was forced to watch. Reigns defeated Daniel Bryan to retain the title, man. This one was one of the best matches of the year. A high-stakes battle not just for a championship, but the continuation of one's WWE's most storied careers. WWE made an extraordinary deal out of the contest, and the performers delivered. Expectations were high, and the match far exceeded them, delivering a dramatic encounter that had fans thinking an inspirational win might not be out of the cards before Reigns snuffed out any sense of hope that still existed. Not only was the match superb, it marked a rare clean victory for the head of the table. Cesaro making the save further supports the idea that the Swiss Superman will be next up to challenge Reigns. While WWE is all in with the big dog right now, one has to wonder if now this is the time to use him to elevate Cesaro, especially considering how hot the Swiss Cyborg is at this moment. But that is for later. Friday night was a culmination of Reigns and Bryan's feud, a match of the year candidate, and proof that WWE can still deliver those must-see event-style matches when it wants to. Why don't they, though? Why don't they? You tell me. I want to know. Now, everyone, there's a lot of Daniel Bryan fans. I'm a Daniel Bryan fan too. A lot of people are sad, like, oh, there's no more Daniel Bryan. I'm like, listen, he's not leaving. At least not yet. So, just chill out, man. It's going to be all right. It's going to be all right, man. He ain't leaving just yet, man. He got stuff to do still. You know, he just switching brands, man. I would actually love to see Daniel Bryan in NXT. Honestly, I think that would be amazing. If Daniel Bryan went to NXT, because there's a lot of people there that he'll have some great matches with. Now, WWE has done a pretty good job sticking with this brand split, but it still has creative ways to move superstars around if one brand happens to need help. And Raw needs some help. Go figure. Daniel Bryan is one of WWE dial-ups in an emergency. Let's backtrack a bit. After losing to Roman Reigns twice with the Universal title at stake, including the main event at WrestleMania, WWE trotted out the matchup again for the April 30th edition of SmackDown. Somewhat behind the scenes, though, the company started to build up Cesaro as the next big threat to Roman. The stakes went beyond the title itself because if Bryan lost again, he'd be banished from the blue brand. That's one way of saying the proverbial writing was on the wall. Bryan was going to lose and leave. Make no mistake, Reigns and Bryan were so good together that WWE could book that as a title match every week for a year, and the two would find a way to make it interesting. Fans would still tune in for it. That's because Daniel Bryan. But this particular match clearly felt like a vehicle to get Bryan off the blue brand and over to Raw. And to the two superstars' credit, they put on another classic with Bryan technically losing because he passed out during the submission. Bryan going to Raw just makes way too much sense. The main event scene is an absolute disaster on the red brand. And right now, in no small way, thanks to WWE booking, Drew McIntyre lost his title right before Mania, which seemed to set him for a big Mania moment and win in front of actual fans in the arena. Instead, McIntyre lost again, which would be fine given how good the match was and that it seemed to signal Bobby Lashley would get the same lengthy quality title run that Mike McIntyre himself got over the last year, even though he lost the title to Randy Orton. Instead, WWE has WWE'd again. McIntyre has been involved with this weird combo of T-Bar and Mace, members of a flop of a stable, plus Braun Strowman. Lashley is in there somewhere too, all for a strange build to the Backlash pay-per-view. Want to know why WWE is going to route this odd Mania event scene right now and risking a major harm to McIntyre and Lashley? Because there isn't anyone else. AJ Styles is off doing tag stuff. Bray Wyatt's last title run was a disaster, and Keith Lee's push is on hold. And bringing over a different superstar to help Raw wouldn't work. Either maybe the best example, Seth Rollins needs to stick to the blue brand, or his inevitability Shield-infused feud with Roman. Moving somebody else just doesn't have as nature as an excuse as Bryan losing again. Plus, and most importantly of all, Bryan is just that good. Want a guy to keep McIntyre relevant long before he reclaims his title? That's Bryan. Want a guy to make champion Bobby Lashley look believable as a monster and hated? It's all about Bryan. Arguably the best in the business on the planet right now, no matter what character and role WWE asks him to portray. Maybe this is giving WWE too much credit. Perhaps upon arrival, Bryan gets locked in a feud with former Retribution members for some reason, which he still somehow managed to make look good. But the obvious hints of banishment and superstar movement sure seem to hint at a bigger, much more important plan. That plan, no matter how it officially unfolds, needs to shift Bryan to Raw. He can be the headline superstar and recapture that lead guide magic seemingly whenever he wants. It's not going to do that. He's not going to do that on SmackDown. Not with Roman Reigns' heel turn and his infancy and popping off better than even the wildest expectations. In fact, it's almost funny WWE is suffering from success of having the most talented roster in history by being able to creatively wiggle a guy like Bryan to a struggling brand. Funny, but also impossible to complain about, as fans know that Bryan will do what Bryan will do when presented with the task. It should be going without saying, but this should be a one-off situation. WWE can't suddenly get trade happy and hurt the integrity of the brands. But Bryan is the jolt Raw desperately needs. And WWE Creative has expertly opened the door. Then let's make it happen organically. So guys, tell me what's your thoughts on all this. Tell me how you feel about this episode of WWE SmackDown. It was okay. I really only cared about the main event. I didn't care about nothing that happened before except for the promo with Aleister Black. I did like Aziz knocking out Sami Zayn and them jumping Big E. But other than that, no. It's just okay. This main event made the show. And that's understandable. Most main events are supposed to make the show, but you need something in between there to keep me watching. Or I'm not going to watch, and I'm just going to wait till the show's over, and I'm just going to fast forward and go straight to the main event. But you guys tell me what you think. Tell me if you like the podcast. Please subscribe to the channel. Like or don't like. Thank you for tuning in to me. I really appreciate it. If you have any questions, you can ask me a question in the comment section. Remember, like, subscribe, share this video, hit the notification bell, and you know what you can do. Tap in or tap out.